Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Good evening. The fight to end salmon farming practices deemed harmful has ramped up in Tasmania's south, seeing hundreds take to the water in protest. Assessing the damage in the D'Entrecasteaux Channel, pressure is mounting on the government to intervene.
Making a clear statement on the ocean they want to protect, signs were emblazoned with a plea for change.
Get out of our seas and onto land, or get the hell out of Tasmania.
The cohort of Tasmanians against fish farming is growing and they want real action, fearing the next generation will be the ones to suffer.
We've got hundreds of people on the beach, we've got over 75 craft on the water, and we're really concerned that now these leases are in the hands of big, fat multinationals that don't belong here.
Circling the TAS feedlots calling for the immediate removal of pens from the channel.
You see fish pens ringworming the whole island and all the way up and down the channel. And it's disgusting, it's causing an environmental disaster.
The Primary Industries Minister responding to concerns, saying the government has the utmost confidence in the independent regulation of the industry, pointing to a focus on transparency and continuous improvement.
In terms of the expansion that they want, a doubling of their industry over 10 years, deliver a business case to us, show us what's behind this plan.
Despite growing concerns from local residents that their backyard waterways are deteriorating, a Salmon Tasmania spokesperson says the industry remains committed to sustainability and the environment to ensure long-term viability.
Now we have no fish at all in the reefs. All we see now is a green slime on the reef. It breaks your heart. Like from what we used to see as a kid and what we see now, it's just destruction, yeah.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Police have identified a number of youths accused of mistreating penguins in Burnie. 3 people aged between 12 and 15 will face proceedings under the Youth Justice Act relating to cruelty of animals and the maiming and killing of a protected species. Police thank the public for their assistance. Meanwhile, the state government has selected a Wilson Street location as the site of the new courthouse in Burnie. Premier Jeremy Rockliff says it was selected due to the desire by the community to keep the courthouse in the CBD. The proposed site will also cater for the first Supreme Court judge for the city. The nursing community is coming out in force, questioning the viability of Southern Cross Care's proposed household model. The Aged Care Union is already reporting chronic understaffing at facilities around the state, raising the alarm on the future of the sector.
Community outcry is growing by the day, with concerned nurses now joining the chorus.
It makes me a bit scared and a bit angry. I'm scared that other providers will follow this model of care, and it just devalues the ENs in their role.
With more than 30 years' experience as an enrolled nurse in the aged care sector, Melanie Ratai fears for the future.
We have to do continual training to maintain our registration, and it makes me angry also for the residents because I feel they won't receive the proper care in having lesser trained staff looking after them.
Southern Cross Care's proposed household model in the spotlight once again.
What Southern Cross Care are proposing is that enrolled nurses accept a pay cut, become care staff, but there's no doubt that their skill and knowledge will still be expected to be delivered.
Sparking fear the proposal could see mass resignations of enrolled nurses around the state, with the union already reporting chronic understaffing in the sector.
It's super concerning. We believe there's roughly 150 enrolled nurses employed across the state by Southern Cross Care. We expect every single one of those to seek employment elsewhere.
Raising concerns quality of care won't be up to scratch.
One of the biggest things that enrolled nurses do is medication administration, and that's a very complex and careful skill that requires significant training and significant oversight.
Carers do receive some training, but they're not trained in wound care, they're not trained in giving medications, they're not trained in identifying clinical declines.
Southern Cross Care says the household model is a recommendation of the Royal Commission, which is resident-centric and the world's best practice. With regards to staffing, the provider says no decisions have been made and consultations with all parties are continuing. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Relay for Life participants are gearing up to walk through the night. The event is back for another year in Hobart to raise vital funds for people living with cancer. Teams are tasked with the challenge of staying on the track for 20 hours straight to symbolise the ongoing fight against the disease. More than $130,000 has already been raised.
And lots of people can talk about their cancer in a safe way as they're walking around the track, when they're meeting other participants. So it's much more than an event and much more than fundraising. It's just a wonderful experience that everyone wants to embrace and be part of.
This is Cancer Council Tasmania's biggest annual fundraiser, with several events taking place across the state. Tasmania's fine produce is receiving recognition on the national stage, with Coal River Farm winning gold at the Australian Tourism Awards. The local establishment taking out the Excellence in Food Tourism gong last night in Sydney.
We've been a nominee and a medalist, I think, 4 times in this category. It's the first time we've managed to snaffle gold, so we're thrilled. It's a real testament to all the really passionate artisan makers we have.
Oh, it feels wonderful, yeah, really chuffed with this. It's the first time we've won in this category in the national awards, so really thrilled.
Wakalina Walk in the Bay of Fires also representing the state, winning the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island Excellence category. Some of Tasmania's youngest sailors have taken to the Derwent for the State International Cadet Championships. Teams of 2 putting their sailing and mentoring skills to the test, with the class serving as a springboard to professional events.
A colourful sight in the heart of the Derwent. The iconic river playing host to the next generation of skippers and crew as they battle conditions and the water in the International Cadet State Championships.
You've got to really remain switched on for that whole time that you're out there, and the River Derwent's an amazing place to sail, but it throws up some difficulties.
We're sailing up to the top mark, and then we just fully dropped down and we just started drifting back down to the start line.
In a test of mental and physical strength, 17 two-person crews race 8 times across the weekend. Aged between 7 and 17, an older sailor pairs with an up-and-comer in the 3-sail dinghies. Teamwork the key to staying afloat.
So you have someone who's sort of 14, 15, 16 helming the boat, and then you have the smaller, younger crew just building that confidence and time on the water.
If you don't work as a team, the boat could capsize and then you lose lots of positions.
Organisers say Tasmania and the Sandy Bay Club have a proud reputation in the category.
We've had multiple world champions come out of this class, going back to the 70s.
We've got quite a competitive fleet, so it should be fun.
Competitors already setting their sails on a career in the sport.
My dream is probably to do the Vandy Globe.
Probably just keep going for the rest of my life.
The event serving as a test run for the National Championships, which will be held in Hobart at Christmas.
Our guys will be out there racing, the Sydney Hobart boats are still finishing, and it's just a really spectacular time.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Launceston band Mears will get their chance to live their dream of becoming professional musicians, securing this year's Nick Balcom Foundation grant. The foundation today celebrating the local music scene with an event at Hobart Brewing Co. Last year's winner Alaska Dry wowing the crowd, playing a selection of classic hits. The $4,500 grant gives artists a chance to learn from some of the industry's brightest minds, also providing for 4 days at Mona's new recording studio. It was a taste of Ireland for one northern Tasmanian town, with locals and visitors flocking to their annual St Patrick's Day celebrations. While the actual day was yesterday, there was no enthusiasm lost, with spirits still high.
A sea of green filling the streets of Westbury, the community joining together to celebrate St Patrick's Day and marking the start of the event's grand return.
I prayed this morning. It was very exciting because, of course, we haven't been doing this for, 3 years now because of COVID. Thank you very much. So we had 19 participants and they were all local community groups, which is absolutely fantastic.
Descending on the village green, celebrating the town's long-standing connection to Ireland.
There's thousands here, thousands, and it's a beautiful day.
Whether it was a pint of Guinness or some Irish stew, there was something for everyone, big and small. And there was no shortage of entertainment, with a puppet show for the children and crowds treated to local performers. The next generation also joining in on the action, with local students dancing around the maypole with a touch of Irish flair.
We've been learning it at school and we've been doing spiderweb and braids, and it's really cool.
The Irish tradition living on.
Happy St Patrick's Day. Happy St Patrick's Day for yesterday.
Victoria Eastoe, 7 Tasmania News.
SCS volunteers from around the state are putting their skills to the test, learning the fundamentals of emergency response as part of the annual State Skills Workshop. 80 volunteers representing all of Tasmania's units are upskilling by taking part in professional development sessions ranging from search and rescue to road crash trauma.
We've got a road crash rescue scenario here whereby we're showing off our latest tooling and equipment, our latest jaws of life to our volunteers that undertake road crash rescue.
This year's event is being run as a 48-hour response incident with 5 teams rotating through 7 exercises at Quercus Park this weekend. And the inevitable has fallen agonisingly short of winning the $5 million All-Star Mile. Starting as an outsider with the bookies, the Scott Brunton trained horse was on the rails early on in the race. Finding some space on the turn, the Tasmanian horse stormed home to finish 3rd behind winner Mr Brightside.
In front of Alligator Blood, who's getting into the clear. They were followed by Nugget, and to the outside, Mr Brightside. Alligator Blood moves up and takes the lead, but Mr Brightside's challenging. Mr Brightside up to Alligator Blood. Cascadian late. Mr Brightside in front, and Mr Brightside has won the mile from Cascadian, the inevitable.
The inevitable paid $5.60 for the place, while Mr Brightside paid $7.20 for the win. Launceston City kicked off their NPL season with a 2-0 derby win over Riverside Olympic last night. Toby Simeone opened his account in the 19th minute to give City a well-earned lead. The number 9 also helping set up the sealer in the second half.
On his left. Oh!
Fantastic goal.
What a goal
from Stefan Tantari.
Elsewhere, South Hobart came from behind to defeat Kingborough Lions 2-1 at Darcy Street this afternoon, while it took reigning premiers Devonport just 10 minutes to take the lead against Clarence. However, the Zebras fought back, managing to grab a point at Valley Road. The South East Suns TNL debut has not gone to plan, going down to Kingston in Sorell last night. The Blues started strongly against the new team and were up by 5 goals at quarter time. They extended the lead at every change, eventually winning 61-34. Kingston's goal shooter Nicole Hunt started the season strongly, top scoring with 36 goals from 37 attempts. Both sides are back in action tomorrow. The Suns will play Corunna, while Kingston have the task of taking on reigning premiers Northern Hawks. The Tasmania Devils girls team had their first victory in the Coates Talent League at UTAS Stadium today. They defeated the GWS Giants Academy 8-14-62 to 7-6-48. The team has a bye next round before versing the Western Jets at Dial Park in Penguin. Tasmanian Jake Birtwistle has taken out the elite men's race of the 2023 Oceania Triathlon Cup and Sprint Championships. It was a tight race between the Launceston racer and fellow Australian Callum McCluskey, with Birtwistle prevailing in the end. Meanwhile, at the World Para Series, world champion Lauren Parker won gold in the wheelchair category. Tasmanian riders have come up big in the National Track Cycling Championships in Brisbane. Alex Eves, Sam McKee, Lachlan Oliver and Hayden Vanderplug winning the gold medal at the junior men's team pursuit. Meanwhile, Josh Duffy won bronze in the elite men's time trial. This afternoon, Eves and McKee won silver in the junior men's Madison.
Good evening. A warm Saturday for large parts of the state. Hobart reached 25, 26 in Launceston. Devonport and Burnie both 21. Ouse and Flinders Island both the state's top at 27. 26 for Grove, King Island and Friendly Beaches reached 25. Strawn 23, 18 in Lyowini. A mostly cloudy start to the day with large areas of clear sky, then developing for the north and the east. Further out, areas of cloud over Tasmania, Victoria and the southern coast of WA and South Australia. Some isolated thunderstorms for the tropical north. Tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure will build over Tasmania and Victoria, and there's some troughs over WA and central parts of the country. West to southwesterly winds of 10 to 20 knots, reaching up to 25 about the north and south in the morning and then in the evening. There's a strong wind warning for the central north coast. A shower or two in Hobart and Richmond tomorrow, both 21, 20 and a possible shower for Ouse. A shower or two developing in Launceston, 23 the top, a partly cloudy 22 for Devonport, a late shower or two in Deloraine. Mostly sunny and 22 in Burnie, Strawn showers increasing in 18, cloudy for Curry, also 18. A shower or two in 18 in St Helens and Swansea, Whitemark, partly cloudy and 21. Tomorrow's UV will sit at a high 6. Fine on Monday, apart from some light morning showers in the west and south. Showers developing for King Island on Tuesday morning, extending to the north during the afternoon and evening. Some possible morning fog and frost for inland areas. Wednesday, showers about the north and east, contracting to the Bass Strait Islands in the morning, mainly fine elsewhere. A cool change for Melbourne tomorrow, 21, mostly sunny in Brisbane, Canberra and Sydney. Adelaide 27, a sunny 33 for Perth. Right now in Hobart at 17, Launceston sunny and 22, Devonport 20 and a little bit of rain around the state tomorrow, so it might be best to pack those raincoats.
Good advice, thank you for that, Vic. And that's all your news for this Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.